So, you're doing everything right, you're training hard, you're eating clean, you're getting your checkups. I mean, you're ticking all the big boxes. But why does it still feel like you're operating at, I don't know, maybe 70%? What if I told you the real drain on your energy isn't some huge, obvious problem? What if it's actually a series of small, almost invisible habits you're doing every single day? All right, let's get into it.
I mean, you've really put in the work, right? You've meal prepped, you've been hitting the gym, you've tried to make your health a priority. But still, that nagging feeling of fatigue, that sense that you're just not quite firing on all cylinders, it's a real thing. And if you're feeling that, trust me, you are not alone. The answer, a lot of the time, isn't about adding another workout. It's about subtracting the things that are quietly holding you back.
And that is exactly what we're going to uncover here. We're going on a hunt for these silent saboteurs. You know, the seemingly harmless daily routines that are secretly chipping away at your health, your strength, and your vitality. These are the habits so ingrained in our lives we don't even notice we're doing them. But today, oh yeah, today we're putting them right under the microscope.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to identify these saboteurs by looking at 3 key areas: how you fuel your body, how you master its rhythm, and how you connect movement and mindset. And then we'll wrap it all up with how to reclaim your edge.
Okay, let's dive into Pillar 1, fueling your foundation. I mean, this is as fundamental as it gets, right? What we put into our bodies is literally the raw material for our energy, our ability to repair, and our overall resilience. But a few really common mistakes here can undermine pretty much everything else you're doing.
So, what's our first saboteur? It's not getting enough protein. And look, we tend to think of protein as just for bodybuilders, but that's just not true. It is absolutely crucial for everyone. Without enough of it, your body can slip into something called sarcopenia, and that's just a fancy term for age-related muscle loss. And here's the real kicker. You can lose as much as 3 to 5% of your muscle per decade after you turn 30. Think about that. That's not just a number on a page, that's the difference between staying strong and independent as you age or becoming frail. So how do we fix it? Well, the good news is the solution is pretty simple and delicious. We're talking about high-quality sources like eggs, fatty fish like salmon, which is also packed with those great omega-3s, and of course, lean meats. Now, if you're plant-based, no worries. Legumes, beans and lentils, they are absolute powerhouses of both protein and fiber. Even just a handful of nuts and seeds can give you a major boost. The key here really is variety.
All right, moving on to saboteur number 2, skimping on fiber. For decades, what did we hear? Fiber is all about, regularity. But that is such a tiny piece of the puzzle. A diet that's rich in fiber is directly linked to a lower risk of heart disease and stroke. Plus, it plays a massive role in keeping your blood sugar stable. And that's critical for preventing type 2 diabetes and, just avoiding those brutal afternoon energy crashes.
And just like with protein, getting more fiber in your diet really isn't complicated. Legumes, again, pull double duty here since they're rich in both. Then you've got your leafy greens like spinach, whole grains like oatmeal, and fruits where you eat the skin, think apples and pears. These are all fantastic, super accessible sources. Honestly, just by making a few simple swaps, you can dramatically up your intake.
Okay, saboteur number 3 might be the most fundamental one of all: dehydration. This number right here, 3 liters, that's the ballpark figure the Mayo Clinic suggests for your body to function at its best. But here's the trap, and this is a big one. As we get older, our sense of thirst actually starts to decrease. That makes it incredibly easy to become chronically dehydrated without even knowing it.
But here's a little pro tip for you. It doesn't all have to come from a water bottle. You can actually eat your water. Foods with really high water content like watermelon, strawberries, cucumbers, even soups and broths, they all contribute a ton to your daily hydration goals. This is an awesome strategy if you're someone who just struggles to chug plain water all day. And it's so important. It keeps your joints lubricated, your skin healthy, and all your organs running smoothly.
All right, let's move on to our second pillar, mastering your rhythm. See, your body isn't just some machine you can turn on and off. It's more like a finely tuned ecosystem that operates on this 24-hour cycle. And when we fight against that internal clock, we basically create this state of internal chaos that just drains our vitality.
And that brings us right to saboteur number 4, irregular meal times. This is all about what's called your circadian rhythm, which is basically your body's master clock. It tells your body when to sleep, when to wake up, and you guessed it, when to eat and digest food. When you eat at totally random, unpredictable times, you are literally giving your body jet lag without ever getting on a plane. It just throws your metabolism and sleep signals completely out of whack. And this is the late night penalty. I mean, eating a big meal right before bed, it can really mess with your sleep, slow down your metabolism, and cause all sorts of digestive problems like acid reflux. Think about it. Your metabolism is trying to slow down for the night, and you just gave it a huge job to do. It's a recipe for disaster. So the rule of thumb? It's simple, but it's powerful. Try to give your body a 2 to 3 hour buffer between that last meal and when you hit the pillow.
Okay, now for saboteur number 5. And honestly, this one might be the most damaging of them all. Not getting enough sleep. We live in this culture that just glorifies the grind, right? It treats sleep like it's some kind of luxury. But let me be clear, the science is undeniable. This quote from the American Heart Association, that's not an exaggeration. That is a serious warning. Consistently sleeping less than 6 hours a night puts immense strain on your heart and blood vessels.
So how do we fight back against this? Well, we reclaim our sleep with a solid, non-negotiable routine. Step 1, consistency is king. Go to bed and wake up around the same time. Yep, even on weekends. That really helps regulate your internal clock. Step 2, optimize your room. Make it a sleep sanctuary, dark, quiet, and cool. And step 3, have a wind-down ritual. This means no caffeine late in the day, no huge meals, and yes, it means putting the phone away at least an hour before bed.
And that brings us to our final pillar, movement and mindset. And look, the connection between your physical body and your mental state, it isn't just some vague idea. They're in a constant, dynamic conversation with each other. If you neglect one, it will always impact the other, period.
Which leads us straight into saboteur number 6, living a sedentary lifestyle. And here's the number you need to know. This is like the minimum effective dose recommended by pretty much all the health authorities. 150 minutes a week of moderate aerobic activity. And that sounds like a lot, but it breaks down to just over 20 minutes a day. And being sedentary, it's not just about weight gain. It actively leads to losing muscle and bone density, which really sets the stage for some major health problems down the road.
But I know 150 minutes can sound super daunting. The secret is to stop thinking about it as exercise and start thinking about it as just movement. Weave it into the fabric of your day with these tiny micro habits. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Use your work breaks for a short walk. Do some stretches at your desk. Find a friend to keep you accountable. These little choices, they really compound over time, and they make that 150-minute goal feel totally achievable.
And finally, our 7th silent saboteur, unmanaged chronic stress. Now, it's really important to understand that not all stress is bad for you. That short-term, acute stress, the pressure you feel before a big presentation, that can actually boost your performance. The real problem is chronic stress, that low-grade, relentless pressure that just never lets up. It keeps your body flooded with the stress hormone cortisol, and over time, that stuff is just corrosive. It damages your heart, messes with your immune system, and tanks your mood.
So managing chronic stress isn't about somehow eliminating it completely, because that's impossible. It's about building a toolkit to handle it effectively. Things like meditation and deep breathing can literally calm your nervous system in minutes. We already talked about regular exercise. It's one of the most powerful stress busters out there. And don't forget the power of setting boundaries at work and connecting with friends and family. These aren't luxuries. They are absolute necessities for your resilience.
Okay, so after going through all 7 of these, I know, it might feel a little overwhelming. But listen, the goal here is not about a total, radical life overhaul. That's not sustainable. It's really about making small, smart adjustments that give you huge results. So let's just reframe this for a second. Instead of a list of things you might be doing wrong, think of this as your new daily health checklist. Prioritize protein, fuel with fiber, hydrate, eat on a schedule, protect your sleep, move your body, and manage your stress. Each one of these is a lever you can pull every single day to feel stronger, sharper, and way more energetic. This is your blueprint for taking back control.
And that brings us to the most important question of all. Because look, knowledge without action is pretty much useless. So I want you to look at this list, and I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Which one, not all 7, just one, which single habit are you going to commit to changing, starting today?
Because picking that one thing, that's the first real step to turning all this information into an actual transformation. If you found some value in this explainer and it helped you identify that step, consider subscribing and maybe sharing it with your peers.